Well, Tika Laurent joins me now here on set. And Deep Key, as we'd expect, front pages all over the world really largely dominated by that remarkable success in Thailand with the rescue of those 12 boys.
That's right. The 12 boys and their coach have finally been brought to safety after being stuck in a flooded cave for the past 18 days. Incredible history, incredible story of survival and an incredible story of a rescue mission, because it took 3 days, but all the wild boars have been saved, as you see on the front page of the Bangkok Post. That's in reference to the football team's nickname. While The Nation, another Thai paper, says mission accomplished, Huya, referring to the celebratory catch cry that was uttered by one of the rescuers as they were pulling the boys to safety, and it actually went viral. It's become a Twitter hashtag now. Let's show you some of the other front pages around the world. I quite like this one from the Australian paper, the Canberra Times, that calls it The Great Escape, going with a rather heartwarming picture there. And the British daily The Guardian also dedicating its front page to the 12 boys, who you see each of their photos posted on the front page of The Guardian, paying tribute to a, quote, daring rescue.
And Deepti, then lots of focus then on how this mission managed to bring together people from all over the world to really work together to try and rescue these children.
Well, staying with The Guardian, writer Suzanne Moore has put it in a really nice way, I think. She says, this story touched the world over because every detail runs, quote, counter to the egomania and the selfishness and the false bravado that seems to be dominating the world right now. This is a pure example of how human beings can be, and it's magnificent. That's what she says. Now, from the Thai papers, though, there's a little bit more criticism. In particular, the editors at the Bangkok Post condemn the safety circumstances that they say were not just preventable, but should have been prevented, starting with, for instance, a sign that in front of that cave where the group got stuck that doesn't even say, it's a small sign, easy to miss, and it forbids entry only from July to November, which is considered the official monsoon period. This time, though, the heavy rains came early, monsoon season came early, and the sign wasn't altered, and nobody bothered to alter it. So the paper deplores what it calls a, quote, careless, deadly, and cavalier approach to safety.
And Deepti, then you found one story you wanted to highlight particularly for us in the New York Times, which is following the narrative of one individual child.
That's right. One of the boys whose story in itself is quite incredible, because this is not, in a way, his first escape. His name is Adul Saman. He's 14 years old. He actually is a Burmese refugee whose parents sent him across the border to Thailand for a better future and education. He's actually from a stateless tribal branch and speaks English, Thai, Burmese, and Mandarin. And it was because of him, or thanks to him, that rescuers were able to make contact with the group and gauge their situation. In fact, the New York Times explains that 3 of the trapped footballers and the coach are all from similar stateless ethnic minorities. They're used to slipping in and out of the Burmese-Thai border, and their undocumented status can make them vulnerable. And this is in particular why the Wild Boars Football Club was such a haven for them.
Lots of tributes then, Deepti, also being paid to the survivors and particularly the rescuers.
That's right. This cartoon was drawn by 2 Thai sisters and shared on social media, really depicting the international effort that went into saving this group, with everyone being represented by animals. You see the group itself was represented by boars, frogs and seals for the divers, a brown elephant for Laos, a crane for Japan, a panda for China, and of course a kangaroo for Australia. In fact, another Thai paper, The Nation, reports that French footballer Paul Pogba dedicated France's win over Belgium to the group of footballers. He said, "Well done, boys. You're so strong."
Well, speaking then of the football, Deepti, it is, of course, the talk of all the newspapers here in France today.
Let's show you L'Équipe, the French sports paper. Les Bleus and their supporters no doubt have their heads in the stars. That's what the paper says on its front page, or rather heads in the clouds, if you like, after that victory that takes them into the first final in 12 years. Not so much joy from the Belgian papers. Le Soir evokes what it calls Belgium's grief, but do concede that France was, quote, intractable.
Well, I have here, Deepti, the Parisian paper, which you tell me has dedicated maybe as many as 10 of its pages to that win.
That's right. At least the first 9 or 10 pages are dedicated to the football today. Le Parisien, in their edition today, say the French side are at the gates of heaven, and its editors have penned a really nice editorial today saying, I quote, "To our Belgian cousins, Please forgive us. But nothing could and nothing will stop Les Bleus, the Incredibles. The paper has some choice words also for the French side ahead of Sunday's final. No headbutts, please. Of course, a reference to the disastrous 2006 final against Italy. Now, the French may have a reputation for being whingers and perpetually unhappy and always on strike, but yesterday, Le Parisien explains, France was united in the streets. You had people waving the flag, beeping their car horns, a, quote, spirit of communion. I quote one supporter who says, when France wins, the country bands together. There are no more black people or Arab people or white people. We're all French.
Thank you very much indeed there. Deeptika Laurent with our press review. And if you'd like to take a look at some more press reviews here on France 24, you can head to our website.